சார் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா சார்?
சார் 2 minutes அப்படியே ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க சார். ஓகே சார்.
ஓகே.
2 minutes அப்படி ஸ்டார்ட். ஓகே சார். ஓகே. Bye, sir.
Yes, sir.
With introduction, you may start the session. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. I welcome to the third day afternoon session of 19055043 power electronics subject. We discussing morning session Dr. T. Butchelli, Professor, Department of EEE, Sairam, Sri Sairam Engineering College. She has handled Unit 3 DC to DC converters. Morning session. The afternoon session is going to handle the remaining topics in DC to DC converters. I hand over the session to Porceli ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hand over session to Porceli.
So is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Visible, madam.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So we have been dealing with the Unit 3 of Power Electronics, which is DC to DC converters. Morning session, we have covered the application, introduction, and we have seen the principle of operation with an example. And we have also covered the types of DC to DC converters based on the quadrants of operation. And we have also seen the introduction to switch mode regulators. In switch mode regulators, we have the DC to DC converter, which can be any of the DC converter like buck boost, that is any of the converters which can be buck boost, chook, buck boost, or anything. So here the main aim is to maintain the output voltage at the reference value. For that, we will be taking the feedback of the output voltage and we will be comparing it with the reference voltage. The error will be given to the control circuit, which is going to have some controller, PI controller or any other controller, and the output will be given to the PWM generation circuit, where the pulse width modulation signals will be produced, which will be given to the switch which is contained, which is there in the DC to DC converter. The width of the pulses will be in such a way that we have to make the V naught that is equal to the reference value set. So we will be seeing the buck converter, boost converter, and the buck boost converters, which are there in the syllabus. So the first converter, in the place of DC to DC converter, we can have any of the following converters. The buck converter, which is also called as the step down converter. Here we'll be using an input voltage, the switch S, and we will have the L and C, which are going to act like filter components, and we will also have diode D, which is going to act like a freewheeling diode. And in the buck converter, since it is a step down converter, the output voltage is always less than the input voltage. This converter, it will operate in two modes of operation. Mode 1 in which the switch will be in the on condition, and mode 2 in which the switch will be in the off condition. The switch S, it can be any switch like MOSFET, IGBT, GTO, or any other switch BJT, depending upon the power requirement. If the converter is used for the low power application, then in that case we will go for MOSFET. If medium power application is required, then in that case we'll be using IGBT. And for high power applications, we may be using GTO or thyristors. Then the switch will be operated with a duty ratio of K is equal to T on by T. The two modes of operation it is explained here. In the mode 1, the switch is in the closed position. During this mode, the diode will be in the open condition. And during this mode, the current will be flowing from the Vs through L and to the load. And this current will be divided into two parts. Some current will be flowing through the capacitor, which charges it, and then the remaining current will be flowing through the load. In order to make the analysis simple, we will be assuming the load current to be at the constant value, and during this mode, the inductor will store energy in it. And in second mode of operation, in this mode, the switch will be turned off. That is, we will be removing the gate pulse which is given to the switch. And during this mode, the inductor which stores stored energy in the stored energy in the mode 1, it will be dissipated, and it will forward bias the diode, so that diode will come into conduction. And during this mode, the current which is that is the inductor current, again it will be divided into two parts. Some current will be flowing through the capacitor and another will be flowing through the load. And these are the different waveforms which are taking place, which we get during mode 1 and mode 2. The first waveform shows the PWM signal waveform. This is the signal which is given to the gate terminal of the switch. And the second waveform shows the inductor current waveform, which varies between two values, I minimum to I maximum. Here we have assumed the conduction to be the continuous conduction. If discontinuous conduction takes place, in that case, the inductor current will reach 0. But here we have taken it as the continuous conduction mode. And the third waveform shows the source current waveform. The source current during mode 1 will be equal to the inductor current IL. During mode 2, since the switch is in the open condition, source current is 0. And the next waveform shows the diode current. The diode current during mode 1 is in the off condition, so current is 0. And during mode 2, it is going to carry the inductor current, so it is same as the inductor current value. The capacitor current, next waveform shows the capacitor current, which is the difference between the inductor current and the load current. And since we have assumed the load current to be a constant value which remains at I naught, we get the capacitor current which is going to vary between a negative value to a maximum value. And then we will have the capacitor voltage that will have a ripple content. Only the average value is shown in this diagram, which is shown by the dashed line. So we will now write the equations which govern the mode 1 and mode 2. During mode 1, which exists between 0 to T on, we can write the inductor voltage VL, which is equal to L into DIL by dt. That can be written as the difference between the voltages Vs and V0. So L into DIL by dt is equal to Vs minus V0. And we can write DIL as the change in the inductor current, which can be written as del I, and we will take del I as the difference between maximum and the minimum current. So del I is I max minus I minimum. And since this mode 1 it exists for a duration of T on, we can take dt as T on. So L into del I by T on can be written as Vs minus V0. From this, we can again rewrite the equation. Since T on can be written as KT, because K is equal to T on by T, we can write T on is equal to KT. So we can write the above equation as L into del I by KT equal to Vs minus V naught, from which we can find the ripple current del I, which is equal to Vs minus V naught into KT by L. From this, we can also get the expression for KT. From the equation 1, we can also write KT is equal to del I L by Vs minus V naught. Again, during the mode 2, again we have to write the inductor voltage, expression for inductor voltage. We can write VL during mode 2 as L into D, again L into DIL by dt, that is equal to minus I naught, because during mode 2 the direction of the voltage across the inductor, it gets reversed. So L into again we can write DIL equal to del I. So L into del I by T of is equal to minus V naught. During this mode 2, the current varies from maximum value to the minimum value. So del I can be taken as I minimum minus I max. We can include a minus sign in del I. So we can write L into minus del I by 1 minus T of can be written as 1 minus K into T. So which can be written equal to minus V naught. So from which we can write del I is equal to V naught into 1 minus K into T divided by L. And we can write the off period 1 minus K into T is equal to del I L by V naught. Now our aim is to get the average output voltage. For that we'll be equating the equations 1 and 2, that is we'll be equating the del I values which we found during mode 1 and mode 2. This is nothing but equating the old time equivalent. So during mode 1 we got the del I expression as Vs minus V naught into KT by L, and during mode 2 we got the del I expression which is V naught into 1 minus K into T divided by L. So equating these two and rearranging, we get the output voltage expression V naught is equal to K into Vs. So from this expression we can say that the output voltage it varies from 0 to Vs as the K value is changing from 0 to 1. When K is equal to 0, we get V naught as Vs, and when K is equal to 1, we get V naught value as Vs. So we can infer from this expression that the output voltage it varies from 0 to Vs. So because it is a buck converter. And next we have to derive the expressions for del I and that is ripple current and the design values of L and C. And for that we are doing the we are using the expression that we know that the time period T is equal to on time plus off time. So which can be again written as KT in plus 1 minus K into T. And we have already derived the expressions for KT and 1 minus K into T during mode 1 and mode 2. So substituting those values, we will get T is equal to del I L by Vs minus V naught plus del I L by V naught. From which we can write the expression for ripple current del I equal to Vs into K into 1 minus K into T divided by L. And from this ripple current expression, we can get the design value of L, which is equal to Vs into K into 1 minus K into T divided by del I. So this expression we can use to find the value of inductor if we are given the input voltage and the duty ratio and the ripple current value also. And we can also rewrite the expressions for del I and L by substituting T is equal to 1 by F, where F is the switching frequency. And again, we can get the ripple voltage. So in all the DC to DC converters, we have to take care of the ripple voltage and ripple current. These two values should be maintained at the lower level. Then only the output voltage will be we can use the output voltage to which can be used in any appliances without any problem. For that we need concept After finding out the ripple voltage, and that is in order to have the proper ripple voltage and proper ripple current, we need to choose the filter components L and C in a proper manner, for which we are deriving these two things, which are very, very important parameters for DC to DC converters. The ripple voltage, which is nothing but the capacitor voltage minus the initial voltage. So we see minus VC of 0. VC time it can after 8 NSK divided by 8 F square L into del V. So these expressions for L and C, they are nothing but the design values, design equations for the filter components. If we know other parameters like input voltage, the ripple, so in problems and all, they'll specify that design the values of L and C for the given parameters input voltage will be giving, and they will all also mentioned that the ripple this much of LV and LI after simulating the circuit which we have designed in the MATLAB. So if you do that, we'll check whether the design parameters are up to the expectation. So next thing is the boost converter. See, actually, I have not given the condition for continuous conduction because it is not. So actually, we have taken the conduction to be continuous conduction for deriving all these parameters. There may be a chance of the converter to move to the discontinuous conduction mode. In order to have the mode to be the continuous conduction mode, there is parameters like critical value of C and critical value of L. These values are to be found by equating the del I to 2 times. Usually the critical values are found by assuming some empirical formula, that is in order to find the critical value of L, we have to equate the ripple current to 2 times the load current, and in order to find the critical value of capacitor, we will be equating the ripple voltage to 2 times the load voltage. If we do all these things and we'll derive the value for L and C, those values are nothing but the critical values of L and C. While choosing the L and C after designing these things, in order to have the continuous conduction, we have to choose L and C in such a way that the chosen value of L and C should be greater than the critical values of L and C. That is the thing which I have not covered here, but I thought I can tell it orally. Then the boost converter, this is the circuit for boost converter. As the name indicates, this is going to step up the given input voltage. We will be able to get the input voltage which is greater than the, sorry, we'll be able to get the output voltage which is greater than or equal to the input voltage. The circuit for the boost converter is shown. Here Vs is the input voltage, L is the inductor, which is the main component in boost converter. Because of the presence of L in series with the that is input voltage, we are getting the output voltage which is more than the input voltage. And we have the switch S. The S again can be MOSFET, IGBT, GTO or BJT, and we'll be having the diode, and the capacitor C is meant for reducing the ripple content of the output voltage. Now again this converter is going to operate in 2 modes. Mode 1 when the switch is in the on condition, and mode 2 when the switch is in the off condition. And again the duty ratio K is equal to T on by T. Now these are the two modes of operation. During mode 1, switch is in the closed position. During this mode, the current from the Vs, it flows through L and it charges the L. And it returns through your that is switch, and it returns back to the source. During this mode, the voltage will be induced in the L with the plus sign. That is, the left side is plus and right side is minus. And during this mode, the diode is in the off condition. The capacitor, which was already charged, it is going to supply the load current during this first mode. Then during the mode 2, the switch is turned off, and during this mode, the polarity of the induced EMF in the L, it will be reversed, so that the EMF polarity to the right of the L will be plus and to the left of the L will be it is minus. So if you see that the output voltage will be the voltage across the inductor plus Vs. Hence we get the output voltage which is greater than the input voltage. And since the inductor current, now it is going to flow through the diode, and it is split into two parts, one through your capacitor which charges the capacitor, and another part will be flowing through the inductor, which is the load current, which we have assumed it to be a constant current. And these are the different waveforms during mode 1 and mode 2 of a boost converter. Again, the first waveform shows the PWM signal, which releases the pulses to the switch, which is used in the boost converter. The second waveform shows the inductor current. Again, we have assumed the conduction to be continuous conduction, so the inductor current waveform, it is shifted above the zero axis, which varies between I minimum value to a maximum value. The inductor current increases from I minimum to I maximum during mode 1, and during mode 2, during which it gets charged. During mode 2, the inductor dissipates its energy, so current it is decreasing from I maximum to the I minimum value. The source current waveform, it is same as the inductor current waveform during mode 1. During mode 2, it is 0, and the diode current is 0 during mode 1 because it is in the off condition, and during mode 2, the diode current is same as the inductor current. And the capacitor current, it is equal to the load current, but the direction of the capacitor current is negative during mode 1. And during mode 2, the capacitor current is the difference between the inductor current and the load current. So it is changing from I max minus I naught to I min minus I naught. And the last waveform shows the capacitor voltage. During mode 1, the capacitor discharges its energy, and during mode 2, the energy gets stored in the capacitor. So the voltage it increases from the minimum value to the maximum value. The dashed line shows the average capacitor voltage, which appears as the output voltage across the load. Then the equations that govern mode 1 and mode 2. In mode 1, we have the in all the things, we have to find the inductor voltage expression in order to get the average output voltage and to get the other ripple current expressions and all. So in mode 1, we can write the inductor voltage VL is equal to L into DIL by dt, that is equal to Vs, because during mode 1, the S is turned on, the inductor will be connected across the input voltage Vs, which can be rewritten as L into del I by T on, that is equal to Vs. Again, del I is I max minus I minimum, dt is the on period of the switch. And again, we can rewrite the above equation by substituting T on is equal to KT. And from this, we can write del I is equal to Vs into KT by L. And we can again write the T on, which is KT equal to del I L by Vs. And during mode 2, we can write the inductor voltage by using this expression. That is from this circuit, we can write Vs minus VL, that is equal to Vs minus L into DIL by dt, that is equal to V naught. We can rewrite the above equation by substituting DIL and DT. DIL, it is going to be minus del I, because the change in current will be I max minus I, that is I max to I minimum. So del I will be I min minus I max here. Which is, that is equal to minus L into minus del I by T off is equal to V naught minus Vs. Substituting for T off, we can rewrite the above equation as L into del I by 1 minus K into T equal to V naught minus Vs. And because we can substitute T off is equal to 1 minus K into T, and from which we can find the ripple current expression for mode 2 as V naught minus Vs into 1 minus K into T divided by L. And again we can write 1 minus K into T is equal to del I L by V naught minus Vs. And in order to get the average output voltage, we have to equate the old time equivalence, that is which is nothing but equating the ripple currents found in mode 1 and mode 2. So by equating the two ripple currents, we will get the expression which is Vs kt by L equal to V naught minus Vs into 1 minus K into T. Rearranging and simplifying the above expressions, we get the output voltage V naught, that is equal to Vs by 1 minus K. So from this expression, we can find that the V naught, it is going to change when K is equal to 0. V naught will be equal to Vs, and when K is equal to 1, the denominator, it is going to be 0. So V naught will be equal to infinity. So as the K value is changing from 1 to as the K value is changing from 0 to 1, the V naught can change from Vs to infinity. So which means that we will be able to get the output voltage which is greater than the input voltage, and as K is equal to 1, we get the infinity. But in practical case, your K cannot be 1, and so we will not be able to get the infinite voltage at the output. So there is a limiting value of duty ratio. Your K can have its maximum value as given by this expression, which is Vs minus I naught into R1 plus 2 into RL divided by Vs plus I naught into R1, where R1 is the resistance of the MOSFET and RL is the load resistance, up to which up to this value only your K can change. K can take its maximum value, above which you cannot increase your K value. So this will limit the maximum value of the boost output voltage. So if you see the graph which is shown in the right hand side, it gives the relationship is the duty ratio. The curve it is shown, which shows that the gain, it can it is varying from 1 to a maximum value which occurs at K maximum. After that, even if the K value is increased, the boost ratio, it is going to decrease. So we cannot use the K value. Our aim is to boost the input voltage. That is the purpose of the boost converter. So we have to maintain the K value between the 0 and the maximum value of K, which is K max. After which, even if you increase the K value, the gain of the converter is going to decrease. Then to find the ripple current, we have to take the expression T is equal to T on plus T off, and we have to substitute the values of KT and 1 minus K into T, which we found during mode 1 and mode 2. So if we do that, we will get the T value is equal to del I L by Vs plus del I L by V naught minus Vs. So from which we can write del I is equal to Vs into KT by L, or L is equal to Vs into KT by del I. And this expression del I, this expression gives the ripple current expression for the boost converter, and the design value of inductor for the boost converter. And we can substitute T is equal to 1 by F, where F is the switching frequency. And again, the ripple voltage for the expression for finding out the ripple voltage remains the same. Del V is equal to Vc minus Vc of 0. Again, the capacitor current voltage at any instant, it can be written as 1 by C integral IC dt plus VC of 0. So minus VC of 0. So we will cancel out the VC of 0. And so the del V expression will be 1 by C integration. Since IC, we are going to take the capacitor current during the mode 1, which is equal to the output current I naught. So 1 by C integration 0 to T on I naught into dt will give you the ripple voltage del V is equal to I naught T on by C. Again, we can substitute T on is equal to KT. So after substituting that, we will get del V is equal to I naught K by FC. After substituting T is equal to 1 by F, from which we can write the design equation for C as I naught K by F into del V. So again, we with the help of the L and C expressions, we can find the values of L and C components which are used in the boost converter. Again, here, if you find the value for critical inductor and critical capacitor after equating del I equal to 2 times I naught, and after equating del V equal to 2 times V naught, and if we check the values of L and C, and we can choose the values of L and C which are greater than the critical values of L and critical value of inductor and critical value of capacitor, so that we'll be able to get the continuous conduction mode. Again, the next converter is the buck boost converter. So it is nothing but it is going to buck and boost the input voltage. So the output voltage can be lesser than the input voltage, or it can be greater than the input voltage. The circuit is going to have an input voltage Vs, the main switch S, and the L and C components, and the diode D, and the load. Again, the switch can be anything like a MOSFET, IGBT, GTO, or BJT. This is going to work in the two modes. Mode 1, during which the switch is in the on condition, and mode 2, during which the switch is in the off condition. Again, the switch is going to operate with a duty ratio of K is equal to T on by T. If we check the polarity of the output voltage, the polarity will be opposite to that of the input voltage polarity. Because of this reason, this is also called as an inverting regulator. These two circuit represents the circuit during mode 1 and mode 2. During mode 1, the switch is in the on condition. During this mode, the current flows through the switch and through the inductor and back to the source, and it's the L stores energy. And during this mode, the capacitor energy, which already stored energy in the capacitor, is going to dissipate through the load. And in the second mode, the switch is turned off, and the diode will come into conduction, and the inductor current, it is going to be divided into two parts. One current, so inductor current will flow from now, it is inductor current direction, it remains the same. It is going to supply the capacitor and the load. So direction of the capacitor current during the mode 2 will be opposite to that of the assumed direction, and the load current it is going to flow from the bottom of the load to the top of the load. So these are the different waveforms that are taking place in buck boost converter. The first waveform shows the PWM signal. The second waveform shows the inductor current, which varies between minimum and the maximum value. The source current is equal to the inductor current during mode 1 and 0 during mode 2. The diode current is 0 during mode 1 and it is equal to the inductor current during mode 2. The capacitor current during mode 1 will be equal to minus I naught, and the capacitor current during mode 2 will be the difference between the inductor current IL and the load current. And the last waveform shows the capacitor voltage. The dashed line shows the average capacitor voltage, which appears as the output voltage, but with this negative polarity across the load. And during mode 1, we can write the inductor voltage as L into del I by KT, that is equal to Vs. So we can write del I is equal to Vs into KT by L, and KT is equal to del I L by Vs. During mode 2, we can write L into IL by dt is equal to V naught, which is equal to L into minus del I by T off, because the DIL will be I min minus I max during mode 2. So we can write L into minus del I by T off equal to V naught, which is equal to L into del I by 1 minus K into T equal to minus V naught, from which we can write del I is equal to minus V naught into 1 minus K into T by L. So from which we can write 1 minus K into T is equal to minus del I L by V naught. Again, to obtain the output voltage equation, we have to equate the old time equivalence as given by the equations 1 and 2, which are nothing but the ripple current expressions obtained in mode 1 and 2. So we can write Vs KT by L is equal to minus V naught into 1 minus K into T by L. After some simplification and rearrangement, after simplification and rearranging the expression, we will get the output voltage V naught, that is equal to minus Vs K by 1 minus K. We can infer from this expression that the V naught polarity is minus, so only it is called as inverting regulator, and we have the K expression, that is K, which is in both the numerator and the denominator. If for K equal to 0, the V naught will be 0. And for K equal to 0.5, if you take K is equal to 0.5, then V naught will be minus Vs. And for K greater than 0.5, V naught will be more than Vs. So for K value between 0 and 0.5, we will get the buck operation. And for K greater than 0.5, we will get the boost operation. So again, we can find the ripple current by using T is equal to T on plus T off, substituting for T on and T off, and simplification, we will get the expression for del I, final expression as Vs V naught by Fl into V naught minus Vs, from which we can find the design equation for L as Vs V naught by F into del I into V naught minus Vs. And again, the ripple voltage, similar expression we have to use. So after doing all the substitution and after integration, we will get the final expression for ripple voltage, which is equal to I naught K by Fc, from which we can find the design expression for C equal to I naught K by F into del V. So next, we are moving on to the next topic, which is resonant converters. Resonant converters, they are going to use L and C components in it. They are meant for achieving the less switching losses. So we will be operating the switch either in the zero current switching or in the zero voltage switching in order to have the switching losses minimum, or in some cases we may even have the zero switching losses. For this to happen, we will need the resonant components, which is going to circulate resonant current through the switch, and the resonant current, or the resonant current, when the resonant current reaches 0, at that time we have to switch turn on and turn off the switch in the zero current mode operation. And for zero voltage operation, we have to consider the resonant voltage, and when it reaches 0, we have to turn on and turn off the switches. So since so for achieving this, we'll be using the resonant components, so that the switching on and switching off of the that is, we need to turn on and turn off the switches either at zero voltage or at the zero current, in order to reduce the switching losses. Because during the switching operations, we can find that that is the dynamic, there will be rapid change in voltage and current during this turning on and turning off period of the switch. So during the switching losses, since all our DC to DC converters, they are operated with the high frequency, there will be more switching loss. So in order to avoid that, will be this as a resonant converter, wherein the hello, sir, am I audible?
Now you are audible, madam. ஒரு 2-3 நிமிஷம் கொஞ்சம் பிளாக் இதாச்சு மேடம், வாய்ஸ் இதாச்சு, பிரேக் ஆச்சு. இப்போ now your voice is audible, madam.
Resonant converters, sir, resonant converters I've started that time it was audible na sir. Resonant converter எடுக்கும்போது audible இருந்தனா sir? இருக்கா? Hello?
Ma'am, voice break ஆகி வருது.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'll change the network connector, sir.
Okay, madam.
Hello?
Yes, madam.
Now it's okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Voice on the clear. Slide in a view, madam.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
So we have seen resonant converters in which we are going to use the resonant components LNC the DC converter either at zero current switching mode or at zero voltage switching mode. Since all the converters will be operating at a high frequency, we will be having more switching losses. In order to reduce the switching losses, we will be going for this resonant converters. The advantages are you can operate the circuit at a very high frequency because we are going to operate at zero voltage or zero current switching. So switching losses are reduced, and the cost of the circuit it will be less when because LNC components we can design to have less value, and the operating frequency, since it is operated with a high value, will be eliminating the EMI problems, that is interference problems we can eliminate. And since switching losses are very much reduced, we can have the efficiency of the converter, which is very high. And the resonant converters, it can be of zero current switching or zero voltage switching. So in zero current switching, we'll be turning on and off switch at zero current. We can have two types of switching, two types of zero current switching here. That is L and M type. The figure below shows the circuits for L type and M type zero current switching converter arrangement. So you can see that the switch LR is connected in series with the switch S, and we will be having the capacitor CR, which is the resonant component here. Again, for M type converter, we will be connecting the capacitor in across the series combination of S and that is switch and the LR. Again, this L and M type, it can be of a half wave type or a full wave type. For half wave, the current flow will be only in one direction, and for full wave, we will be having the current flow in both the directions. The diagram B shows the half bridge, that is half wave L and M type zero current switching converter, and the figure C shows it gives the bidirectional, that is the current will flow in both the directions, which shows the left hand side circuit shows the L type, and the right hand side circuit shows the M type. And again, for zero current switching, we'll be using LR and CR, which are going to act like a series circuit component. This is going to produce a resonating current, which will be flowing through the switch. When the resonating current reaches, will be turning on the switch. During this time, the internal switch capacitance, the current which is flowing through the capacitor, dV by dt, it is going to be shorter due to the finite slope of the switch. So the frequency here, it is limited because of the high current that causes the power dissipation in the switches. So here, the resonant current that will be allowed to flow through the switch will be and the next method is the zero voltage switching. In zero voltage switching, we'll be using the resonant voltage, and we will be turning on and off the switch at zero voltage. Again, here we will have the two types, L and M type of zero voltage switching arrangement. So the first, the figure A shows the L type zero voltage switching arrangement, where your switch is there, and we will have the LR and CR, which are connected in the L type fashion. And the right hand side figure shows the M type convert. Sir?
Slide ஒரே ஸ்லைட்ல தான் மேடம் இருக்கு. அட்வான்டேஜ்ல தான் இருக்கு.
Advantage. இப்போ சார்
மேடம் அதுல தான் மேடம் இருக்கு. அட்வான்டேஜ்லாம் இருக்கு மேடம்.
சரி, ஓகே சார். நான் ஆட்டோ I'll share on this.
ராஜன் பாபு சார். சார் நெட்வொர்க் ப்ராப்ளம் வருது சார். உங்களுக்கு வருதா சார்? இல்ல மேடத்துக்கு நெட்வொர்க் ப்ராப்ளம் வந்து.
ஆமா சார். சார் இப்ப விசிபிளா இருக்கா சார்?
இல்ல மேடம், இது அட்வான்டேஜஸ்லாம் நிக்குது மேடம்.
அட்வான்டேஜஸ்
ஒரு நிமிஷம் நான் திரும்ப செக் பண்றேன்.
நான் வேணா ஆப்ஷன் பண்றேன். சரி possible இருக்கா சார்? ஹலோ
மேடம் இன்னும் ஓபன் ஆகல மேடம்.
ஆகல மேடம்.
சரி இப்போ சார்
இப்போ இல்ல வியூ ஆச்சு மேடம். வியூ ஆயிட்டு.
okay sir. Okay sir. So this is the circuit for M and L type of zero voltage switching converters. And so in zero voltage switching converters, the resonant components L and LR and CR we are going to use in order to produce the resonant voltage, which will appear as the voltage across the switch, and the switch will be turned on and off when resonant voltage 0 reaches 0. Again, here we will be having both unidirectional and bidirectional type of zero voltage. Then we'll be moving on to the application of DC to DC converter. So we have the battery operated vehicle. We all know that battery operated vehicle in which will be using in electric vehicles, will be using battery arrangement, or we will be using a fuel cell or supercapacitors, which will be powering, which will be used to supply power to the motor through the power modulator circuits. Here in the battery and all these storage elements will be the main energy source which drives the motor. And we may use either any of the combinations like battery and fuel cell, or fuel cell or and supercapacitor, or battery and supercapacitor, like that. So we'll be taking the output from the battery, and so this is a circuit in which all the three things they are used in the EV: fuel cell, supercapacitor, and battery. We can see that DC to DC converter plays a vital role here. Since we are taking the output voltage from the battery, supercapacitor, or fuel cell, so that thing, the output voltage, it will be that is it will be degrading as the time goes on. For in order to maintain, or in order to provide a regulated output voltage, we will be using the DC to DC converter, which will be connected to the DC link. If the motor used is AC motor, then we'll be using an inverter arrangement also in the electric vehicle, which will convert the DC link voltage into AC to drive the motor. In addition to this, that is, you can also use the DC to DC converter to obtain the speed control, like by changing the duty ratio of the converter, we will be able to vary the DC link voltage, which in turn will vary the output voltage of the inverter. And in addition, it also provides the power factor correction. Since all the DC to DC converters, all your power electronic converters, we are using AC, that is, we are converting the DC into AC. All these things, they are going to have a power factor issue. They are going to have more harmonic content. All these things they'll be available. In order to make the in order to obtain the more power factor, we'll be using the DC to DC converter. So we can use any DC to DC converter, boost converter, buck boost, or chuk, or any other type. And we may use the all the non-isolated converters can also be used, or even the isolated converter with the transformer arrangement can also be used, so that provide us the desired output available in the DC link, which can be used to drive converter. So this is the application of the DC to DC converter. That's all about the presentation. If you have any question, you can ask. I'll be able to answer your queries. Thanks for the opportunity given, and also sorry for inconvenience caused. I thank each and every one of you.
Participant side, are you want to ask any question, or otherwise we'll wind up the session? Participant side, are you want to raise any questions, or otherwise we'll wind up? Our time is around the ending, madam.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable presentation and sparing your time with us. Thank you so much. We got a whole insight knowledge of DC to DC converters today. Hope the session is highly helpful to all the participants who are over here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam, for the nice
Thank you, sir.
presentation, madam. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir. Some network issue. Because of the network issue, I could
last
not.
5 or 10 minutes having some problem, madam. Okay, no problem, no problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
இந்த அனுப்பி விடுங்க மேம். அதே பார்த்து கூட அப்படியே நம்ம மாத்திக்கலாம். இதான் தேடிட்டு இருக்கேன்.